in your head, because what you
Biden's
do
DOJ is
on
also
your show
prosecuting
every
Donald Trump
day
twice.
is you groom your audience for fascism and you set them up.
What's going on, you guys? Today we have Francesca Fiorentini enlightening Michael Knowles on Piers Morgan Uncensored. Michael Knowles is talking out of his ass about the Trump cases, and Francesca Fiorentini is able to put a stop to it. Let's get into it.
Michael, look, I do think there's a ridiculous double standard here that will come back and bite the Democrats for the reasons that Mark Garagos said about historically, you know, you've seen this coming a mile off, where both parties starting to ratchet up this concept of kind of going after each other's leaders in criminal courts. I mean, you see this normally in banana republics, not in the United States of America. And it really does worry me, as someone who loves America and loves Americans, what this is leading to. Because if all that happens in each term of office is one party trying to incarcerate the other's leader, I don't know where that leaves America in a few years' time.
Well, this will only come back to bite Democrats if they lose their grip on power, and obviously they don't think that they will. This is why President Biden the other day, when he was walking out of a press briefing, was asked, Mr. President, Donald Trump says that you are imprisoning him because he's your political rival. What do you say to that charge?
Well, I'll stop you there. We have the clip. Let's play the clip.
Mr. President, can you tell us, sir, Donald Trump refers to himself as a political prisoner and blames you directly. What's your response to that, sir? Do you think the conviction will have an impact on the campaign?
I mean, you look like Jack Nicholson in The Shining at the end of that. But yeah, I mean, Michael, to pick up your point there, that's the clip you're referring to.
Yes, and it's pretty clear this is not a man who thinks that he has to be accountable to the American people. When you look at the federal charge against Trump, there was a poll that came out when that charge was brought that showed 62% of Americans think that it's primarily politically motivated. They just don't seem to care. And so this has been a ratcheting up, as we've all noted on the panel, of trends that have been built up for some years now. Some would say going back to Richard Nixon. But certainly in the early Trump campaign, the Democrats tried to stop him from being president by spying on him and cooking up fake intelligence, ironically enough, with Russia, and that didn't work. Then they tried to throw him out by impeaching him twice. That didn't work. Then they tried to kick him out by rigging the election and changing all the voter rules, in some cases in contravention of state constitutions leading up to that election. That did get him out of office, and he did leave office, but then he didn't go away. He kept running again. So then they indicted him 4 times. Now they've convicted him. They're going to threaten to throw him in prison. Pretty soon they're going to threaten to send him to St. Helena. But this has absolutely nothing to do with the law. As was noted earlier.
So right here we have Michael Knowles giving all of the regular speaking points from the conservatives, going in. It's the deep state that wants to take him down. This is the lizard people that have something against Trump, that Trump possibly is the next coming, the second coming of Jesus Christ, and that everyone else is wanting to make sure that they can put a stop to him. It's all the same rhetoric. It's all the same stories that we see from Michael Knowles. Let's see how Francesca Fiorentini combats this.
Earlier, at most, you're talking about a misdemeanor that would have already expired under the statute of limitations. I'm not even convinced that there was really a misdemeanor that Trump committed. So my fellow panelist here is celebrating that the rule of law has been vindicated and overturned 234 years of American legal tradition. I would challenge her to see if she could possibly articulate how and what crime Trump committed, because so far Alvin Bragg, the DA, has failed to do so. The judge in the case, Judge Merchan, has failed to do so. And they can't do it because Trump didn't commit any of the crimes for which he's been convicted.
Well, let's just ask quickly before I go to Kevin. Francesca, just on that point, what crime did Trump commit?
It was financial crimes. It was white collar crimes. That is exactly what they charged him. He was convicted on.
What was the crime?
It's New York State law.
No, I understand. What was the crime?
It is New.
Francesca,
I don't even like it. It is
hang on, Mark,
he just got convicted on 34 counts.
Francesca, what was the crime?
Of like cooking the actual books.
What was the crime?
You are not allowed. So you are not allowed to use your own financial, like your own money, to pay off somebody, and then he logged it as something different. He logged it as just a regular payment, but he was actually paying off this are to keep quiet, which, if he hadn't been running for president, would not have mattered, but he was, and so it impacted campaign finance laws in New York State. Okay, that is what Juan Merchan just oversaw this. Alvin Bragg brought these charges because Michael Cohen, his fixer, was already sentenced to 3 years to do it.
Let's just go before Kevin. I'll be very, very, very patient. I will come to you.
Look, I'm no expert. Let me just say, hang on,
No,
Michael.
Francesca,
you are no expert. That's
way.
because the campaign finance law is a federal law.
Hang on,
Anyway.
Francesca. I want to go to Mark. You're the lawyer. Is anything Francesca just said, is that actually the crime?
Look, let me just say, I like Francesca a lot, and we probably agree on 80% of our worldviews. However, Francesca, the way you just described it, call me afterwards and I'll educate you, because that's not what happened. There was no theory that was given to the jurors. The jurors were told it could have been campaign finance. It could have.
And here we have the lawyer who decides to say why Trump didn't get in trouble, right? Like, he got in trouble. He got indicted by the courts. It doesn't matter what the lawyer is speaking on. It doesn't matter what the lawyer's defense is. Whose man's is this? Who's he saying? Who's he talking to? Trump literally got indicted over. He was found guilty over this. So how are you going to say, oh, that's not what he got? Oh, now he's just going to want to say some loophole to get him out of it. Again, he got caught. He got indicted on these charges. So how are we going to say that, oh, that's not what actually happened? Let's see what goes on.
It could have been tax. It could have been false books. They were told they didn't have to specify, and specifically told they did not have to agree unanimously. That's what irks me. Lifelong Democrat, no fan of Trump, never voted for Trump, never will. But I will tell you, as somebody who has spent his entire career with kind of taking on unpopular causes and holding the government accountable, I have to tell you, I do that for a reason. And the reason is this kind of shenanigans, and that's the best light I can spin it, in the criminal courts has no place in a federal election.
I don't mean to pick on Francesca too much here, but it's very telling that even the liberals who are going on television to defend this ruling have to Google in the breaks to figure out what the crime was, and even then, I'm sorry to say, misrepresent what the actual supposed crime was. The reason here that this has to take. Well, excuse me one second, Francesca. I'll just finish my point real quickly.
Cooking the books. That's the same thing.
Yeah. It's not a felony, not a crime. But anyway, that's a point for another time. The reason why even the great defenders of this conviction can't. Yes, to you as well. The reason that they can't articulate this is because it's not really a crime. That's why they had to upend 234 years of precedent for this. And it gets back to a point that you made earlier, Piers, and that you made, Kevin, which is that Alvin Bragg really overplayed his hand. Sure, he overplayed his hand to some degree, but what else were they going to do? Donald Trump was always going to be the Republican nominee in 2024. A lot of people feel that he was gypped in 2020. He's the biggest guy in the party. It was going to happen. And Trump poses a real threat to the liberal establishment. He's not a Mitt Romney type Republican. He has different views from the so-called uniparty on things like trade, on things like immigration, and things like foreign policy and war. Trump posed a major threat. That's why they took such extraordinary measures for the last 8 years to take this guy out. They weren't able to do it politically. They weren't even really able to do it at the ballot box. So what's left? The only thing left.
So right here we have Michael Knowles again spewing insane conspiracy, saying, again, he poses a threat to the deep state. He poses a threat to, like, yeah, right, like this dude's not about to run his entire tyrant. He's already brainwashed everybody, you know. So who is he against? Who is he going against? What threat is he posing? What's going on here? And it doesn't even make sense what the heck Michael Knowles is talking about. And he's really he's trying to get underneath Francesca Fiorentini's nerves, under her skin, but she's not allowing it. She's staying calm and composed. Let's keep on watching.
Left to do is to try to throw him in prison so that he can't campaign for the election. I agree, it's backfiring.
This is not a federal case, Michael. You know that. It's not even a federal case. Why do you think that it's not a DOJ case? It's not a Biden case. It's not a Merrick Garland thing. It's New York state law. So the idea that this is somehow politically motivated is all made
Biden
up
is
in your
also-
head, because what you
Biden's
do
DOJ is
on
also
your show
prosecuting
every
Donald Trump
day
twice.
is you groom your audience for fascism and you set them up for a complete takeover of the DOJ. This is all about allowing Trump to get away with any crime he wants, as you sort of slighted and sort
Francesca.
of, laid out very
So there we have it right there, you guys. Francesca Fiorentini is grilling Michael Knowles, saying, you don't even know the facts, Michael. You're wanting to, first thing he does is want to put that on Francesca Fiorentini, saying you have to Google what's going on with the case. He doesn't even know it's a federal case. She's having to let him know all of the facts with this. That this is not even a federal case. This has nothing to do with him posing a threat. This is everything just having people to, he wants to sell t-shirts. That's all he's wanting to do, is just sell Trump t-shirts. People saying, oh, this is your second coming. This is everyone's trying to take him down. He's wanting to build an underdog theory, and it's just not working out for him. Francesca Fiorentini is shutting that down. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. It's another day in the progressive way.